So this is another Patreon-sponsored TV series by Alice. Thanks again. I've never hated a single Alice recommendation. I know it sounds like I'm kissing the ass if somebody gives me money, but like it's true. I'll be honest if I don't like something. There have been things I didn't like. I didn't like how Fargo turned out in the last season. I didn't like a lot about Leftovers. I talked about that at length. So I will talk about stuff I don't like. So, both of those, by the way, were Patreon series. So ostensibly people were paying me to watch it, right? They were signing up because they enjoyed the series and I was shitting on the series. It is what it is. But because this is a Patreon sponsored show, that means I'm doing 4 episodes. I may never do another episode. That's on you. If I get a decent amount of views and likes and comments and subscribing, whatever, I guess the algorithm knows if you subscribe from a specific video and it'll promote that video more. I guess. I don't really know how it works. But apparently so. So if I get enough engagement, I'll continue on this channel. I probably won't do it 5 times a week like I'm doing One Piece. I'll do it at least a couple times a week. We'll see. Maybe it'll do it every weekend. 1 or 2 per day on every weekend. It depends how much engagement I get. But yeah, if you're a fan of this series and you want me to continue, then that's the way you get it done. Having said that, I'm watching 4 for sure. And before I do that, I want to talk a little bit. There'll be a timestamp above where you can just jump to the reaction if you want to. I was, for the first 10 years of my script writing career, I was writing only adult, mature material. Stuff like probably a cross between Lost and Quentin Tarantino, in essence, for the most part. Some character studies. Then I got into comedies, and so I was doing raunchy adult comedies and stuff like that. And so all adult material. And in my novel writing, I was trying to write novels for a long time before I got into filmmaking. And all that was adult material. It was nothing ever, it was nothing engineered for the teen or kid market. I didn't know how to write that. I didn't know how to think about that market. I didn't know anything about the market because I didn't have kids. But then I got an opportunity to do some voiceover work with Peyton List because I knew a casting director who knew her manager and could get in touch with her and put something in front of her and make a deal happen, right? So I was like, well, and Peyton List was big on the Disney Channel back then. She was already becoming a big name. I was doing a lot of audio plays. So if I could get Peyton List signed onto an audio play, I could get all of her fans to buy my audio plays for $1 or $2 a piece. I could make a lot of money. It'd be worth what I paid her up front. But I had to be able to write a script that Disney would sign off on. And I didn't want to farm this out because this is all in spec, right? Like, I'm putting up my own money to pay Peyton List in the hopes that when it comes out and she promotes it, that her fans will buy it and I'll get my money back. So I couldn't pay a writer because I was already paying her. And this is all spec. She may never sign on or may not work. I had hired other very, very minor celebrities and they hadn't generated any sales. People have been on Dance Moms and stuff. And they generated no sales. So it already hadn't worked. So I couldn't afford to pay a writer, which means I had to write these scripts myself. And I had to write family-friendly scripts that Disney would approve of. And I had never done that before. So what I did was, I did about a 4-month training camp where I watched a crap ton of Disney Channel shows. I watched some Nickelodeon shows too, like Drake and Josh or something. I couldn't get into those. There was something missing with those shows. I don't know what it was. Maybe it's just too juvenile for me. But I watched things like I watched a lot of Good Luck Charlie, and I watched Liv and Maddie, and Girl Meets World. The first season, I think, was around the time when I was doing all this. Bizaardvark was another one. Olivia Rodrigo's now big. She was on Bizaardvark. There was a couple others. I can't remember them now. Like there was about 6 or 8 shows that I watched a lot of. And to just immerse myself by osmosis, to rewire my brain to be able to write kid-friendly scripts. And I was able to write some kid-friendly scripts that some other, like I said, like a couple Dance Moms people, very minor people, signed on board because they didn't want to ruin their image either with really bad language or adult situations or whatever. So it wasn't really, like, obviously I could tune out the bad language, right? But it was more a matter of writing stories that kids would enjoy to read that just weren't too adult in thought, right? What do kids enjoy? These were popular shows that kids were watching. So like I said, I did a training camp where I just watched everything I could get my hands on. Back then, like, it wasn't really available on the internet as much. So basically, I was just watching the Disney Channel, whatever was available on Disney Channel at that time, 6-8 hours a day. I would have it on. Something, a new show comes on, I would unmute it. I'd be working on something, unmute it, and then it goes to commercial, go back to work, unmute it when it comes off commercial, and just do that for like 6 or 8 hours straight, every day, for a long period of time. Oh, Best Friends Whenever was another one that I liked. Time travel, man. Good stuff. They have a lot of supernatural shows and science fiction shows on that channel. So anyway, the thing was, I did this after Wizards of Waverly Place had ended. So I didn't watch Wizards of Waverly Place, but I was aware of it. And it was on my list. I was going to watch it. And I ended up watching like the pilot. It was like on a website or something. So I watched the first episode. And this was years ago. I don't really remember the first. As I watch this again, I'll remember it, of course. But I watched the first episode, and it seemed pretty good. I can see why it was hype. But it just wasn't available at the time. You couldn't just go online and watch stuff like you can now, right? And we're only talking about, it's probably 10 years ago? I guess it's about 10 years ago now when I was doing this. It just, things were not available online as much as they are now. But I had a friend who was obsessed with Wizards of Waverly Place. She'd watched the entire series about 4 times. She's the one that talked me into watching the pilot. She told me a bunch of plot details. She told me like what the actual premise is. Apparently, like the 3 kids are in competition until they reach a certain age, and then they take a test against. They compete against each other, and one of them wins the ability to use magic as an adult. The other 2 can never use magic again. Brilliant concept. I love that. They're family, but they're also competing against each other. And apparently, like every episode is almost like a procedural. They learn a new spell every episode, and then it'll culminate at the end of the series. One of them wins the magic, right? So. Great concept. So I'm aware of the setup. And as I remember it, the pilot doesn't even talk about this. There's no like opening song that tells you like this is what's happening. I don't know if there was a movie that preceded this, because I recently tried to watch the pilot for Buck Rogers, you know, from like 45, 50 years ago. And it starts with the TV series starts. It doesn't start with the 2-hour movie that was in theaters that was the actual pilot. So if you just start watching the series, you don't know what the hell's going on, because you're just watching a series, right? Like they don't start the series on TV with the movie. You have to have seen the movie. It's almost like a continuity lockout. Well, how did Buck Rogers get here? Where is he from? Like, why is he from the past? Like, none of that makes any sense, because they don't give the setup. Here, this feels the same way. I wonder if there was a TV movie that started this, because I had the same question back then. Now, I haven't seen this yet, but as I remember, they jump you straight into it. It's just another Spell of the Week episode without telling you set up. I assume they'll refer to it as they move along, and you'll be able to pick it up. But it's just weird you don't start with like an explanation of what they're doing, right? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just remembering it wrong. But I remember being confused, and I had a lot of questions after I'd watched that episode. So I know a few other things. Obviously, Selena Gomez, awesome. And she just became the first woman ever to have 400 million followers on Instagram. Huge breakout star. Probably the biggest star that Disney Channel's ever had. Like, Dove Cameron probably is 1/10 of her popularity. Selena Gomez is probably the best I can remember. I don't remember everybody that was on. Maybe Miley Cyrus might be bigger than her, but Miley Cyrus wasn't the first person to have 400 million on Instagram, so maybe not. Yeah, maybe Selena Gomez really is the biggest. By the way, I never saw Hannah Montana. That was also before my time. But yeah, so I know Selena Gomez is on this. And another thing that I went to TV Tropes after I first watched the pilot, and I don't remember much of what they told me. Like, there was a bunch of stuff there. This was 10 years ago that I did this. But the one thing I do remember that they talked about a lot on TV Tropes was there was some kind of subtextual sexual tension between Selena Gomez's character and her older brother, which is weird. It's a Disney Channel show. Now, maybe there was chemistry between the actors, but they almost call it like belligerent sexual tension. I don't believe this is possible. I think they're wrong. I think they're reading something into it. I'm actually going to be investigating this as I watch these 4 episodes. I'm going to be like a junior detective. Just for my own amusement, I'm going to be seeing if I can see any signs of this BST. Because I don't believe that's possible on a Disney Channel show. I don't even think it's possible on a regular network sitcom. I think these people are tripping. I never understood that. That's why I still remember it 10 years later. I was like, the hell are they talking about? That makes no sense. Also, I know the younger brother is, he eventually went on to The Fosters. Great show. I saw like the first 2/3 of The Fosters. And he got replaced after a couple seasons. And they just threw another actor in there and hoped you wouldn't notice. And he was more attractive. So, like, that's just a double whammy, right? But I remember him being good on The Fosters. I don't remember him when I saw this pilot. But my friend was talking about when I was watching The Fosters with. She's like, yeah, that's the dude from Wizards of Waverly Place. Apparently he grew up a lot. Like, he shot up like a weed. So anyway, this is a long intro. The next 3 intros won't be this long. But I just wanted to... I always want to be honest, like what I know about this property and what I don't know. And a lot of times, maybe I still have never done the thing where I've watched something without realizing I'd watched it. But that'll happen one of these days. I'll be halfway through something like, wait a minute, I've seen this before. Terrible memory here. I'm a terrible memory guy. All right, so anyway, these are going to be full reactions. So what you have to do is you have to queue up your own copy. There'll be the subtitles up above, and that will help you sync up because these are only 22-minute episodes, so we shouldn't have any drift. If the episodes were longer, we would be getting drift, and where you'd have to resync it or something. You don't have to worry about that with this. So, and we'll be going from the very beginning of the episode. Oh, just to give you a punchline of the earlier story, I spent 4 months in training camp trying to write a good script. So I wrote some scripts. Sent it to my casting agent friend who passed it on to Peyton List's people, right? They rejected it out of hand without even giving me a chance to change the script because of one word. I want you to try to guess what that one word is. I'll tell you at the end of this episode. But it's just one word. Because I used that one word, they rejected it and basically closed the door on ever working with me. It's like, damn, that's harsh. Like, and I couldn't offer a whole lot of money, so I'm sure that's part of it. If I was like a billionaire and the first offer had 6 figures, they would have worked with me. But like I was already indie. They were open to the possibility, but it had to be perfect, and it wasn't perfect, and so just slammed the door in my face. So yeah. Anyway, it was worth a shot. We're going on 1. 3, 2, 1. All right. Damn, she's young here. I knew that, but still. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Peter DeLuise is in this, too. I love this guy. He is so good. I love him so much. He should be bigger than he is. Look at you trying to teach this class. Yeah. Well, he's younger, too. I know they're all going to be young. I know it's an idiotic comment. I'm speaking out loud. She's not even paying attention. I would not want to be in a class with my 2 siblings, by the way. Oh, yes, I remember. Yeah, she duplicates herself, right? But does it badly? Something like that. I'm going to game the system. Damn. But denied. By the way, he's apparently way taller than her. Look at it. He hasn't kneel down. Denied. You don't have to be a sarcastic ass. That's all? 2 days a week? That's not bad. Sure you will. Yeah. Duplicate what you have and change it. I love this song, by the way. It was my one takeaway from the show. There's an hour-long version because it's only like a 50-second song. There's a 3-hour version on YouTube I listen to sometimes. Apparently Jennifer Stone never did anything again. I've never heard of her. Although, I think the version I heard was faster than this. This feels a little slow. Oh, David DeLuise. Peter DeLuise is his brother, the director. That's right. It's David DeLuise. David, both of them act, but Peter's a better actor, or better director. David is a better actor. I actually wanted to work with Peter DeLuise as a director, because he's just a great director. Never got the glow up he deserved. He did a lot of, he does a lot of TV shows. Like 100 episodes of Stargate and Atlantis. I mean, you can just see her charisma even here, right? I don't know what her age is here. Probably 14. Another thing that's weird, we're talking about the tension between her. She's underage, right? What are you doing? So that's another weird thing about that. But yeah, it's just, You can see the talent. I'll talk about this at the end. Wouldn't GT backers be ig ig? It would be ig ig, wouldn't it? But it's a good joke, so we'll go with it. Oh crap! This is her, isn't it? Yep. Look at you trying to do better. Good thing we had a fan in the middle. Oh, okay, yeah. Boy, they stole my joke. Damn it. What's with their noses? They get nose jobs? Are you serious? Jennifer's actually good. I'm surprised she hasn't done anything. Yeah, now we're talking. Eyebrow. Singular. My God. They got nose jobs, of course they did. Oh, wow. That's right. Take this slander. How did you see that? Are you... Wow. Wow. I would have to give him another broken nose. Yeah. What the hell? Wow. You know, sometimes you just have to educate. And I'm not talking about scholarly education. She's doing too much with her face, but she's a pretty good actress too. I'm going to stop grading. I'm just saying. It's hard to turn it off. Yeah. Yeah, sure. Yep. I know that she's the lovable rogue of the show. Although I'm sure all three of them end up being. Oh, that's right. They have a restaurant, don't they? You better grovel. You're crazy. Oh, crap. She's going to see her there. I'll be there personally to witness her being there. What are the stakes, I wonder? What kind of punishments are on the table here? No magic for a week? Damn. That's some scathing social commentary from back then. These days, we don't read magazines. But trust me, this was hilarious 15 years ago. 15 years ago, that was hilarious. I'm telling you. If you know, you know. I'm grading again. I'm not going to say what I think, but I'm grading them. Zero listening skills. Hell no. Can I eat it? Wow. You're old and you're not a trendsetter. Wow, that's very hurtful. Really? Did you beat out your siblings? Did you have siblings? Because it feels like this gets bloodthirsty at some level, right? Cutthroat. Yeah. My mind just went to a dark place. I'm not going to just verbalize that. Really. Not a fan of that kind of transition, but hey, man, this is, like I said, this is an old show. How did I get into a grading mode, man? I'm not watching something somebody's pitching to me. This is a polished, manufactured series put out by one of the giant studios, man. It should be fine. By the way, I will say this. I know they went Doctor Who with their special effects, so I'm not going to grade the special effects. Yeah. Really. Yeah, you know what's up. This is how they got. Wow, that was pretty good. We gotta walk past it. This is how they got Liv and Maddie ready, right? In Liv and Maddie, I don't think we ever saw her walk past herself. Look at this budget they're using. Oh crap! Why? Just make it again. You can do that, right? Make it again. Delete it and make it again. What is travel time now? Yeah. Suburban Outfitters, huh? That's what we're doing? You need to cast a spell on her. Ugh, Jesus. Stop helping. You're mean. He's an idiot. Like, I've only been watching this for how long? In less than 10 minutes, I know their dad's an idiot. Get me paid. I can be easily bought. Uh-huh. What are you bribing the older brother with? Quit hating. Dude. Wow, she even flickers. That's not good. The flicker is not a good development. Harper, huh? I'll try to remember that. It really is. So you're vapid. Oh, you're getting something for. Oh, man. Great. I was going to say she's vapid, but she's actually got more layers than that. The dad's a moron. I got you. She's at the very back. How hard could it be? You needed people in front. I'm criticizing too much. Oh, nicely played. Yeah, evil. She is evil, by the way. That's right. Look at you push through the line like somebody's evil. That's right. Press their broken noses up against the window. Hey, what's with the old lady? I thought this was for teenagers. Oh, I see. That's why she's there. That's right. Get the fuck off me. The mom already got it, didn't she? Yeah. Yeah. Meanwhile, you're wasting your time. That's right. So, handle that. Hey, it works with, what is the bird that does that? The ostrich? How is she too heavy? How could she? Oh, dude. Butt knuckle, huh? There is now. Dumbass. How heavy could she possibly be? Maybe she's heavier because she's a doppelganger. I wonder if that's a stunt person because they're hiding her face. Maybe it's somebody who's more flexible. That would make sense, right? What does it look like? Yeah, that's not weird. Nicely played. That's right. Cut. Yeah, there you go. Cut to her being there. It's interesting they use a stunt double for that. So he's actively rooting for her to get caught. I'm into it. Because he didn't get bribed. Wow. It's too late, though. The sale already started. Yeah. Wow, he's being really nice. Busted. That didn't last very long. You might as well get it out there right now, right? Which one am I more mad at? He's got a head like a rock. That was the perfect time to tell him that. That's how you cover, man. It's camouflage. Yeah, I'm snitching. Oh, here's his real wand. Okay. E-wand, huh? Yeah, nice. I like his vibe, man. Wow. I don't like his vibe. He's a little too reckless for me. Dude. He was going to let her go to the sale after the sale was already over because it had already started. It's only a 10-minute sale. Like, very flawed, man. Nicely played. So what are they tapped with? Yeah, damn! The hell? It's only been 10 minutes, huh? 2 minutes. I like the store manager. Wow, you're manhandling the mom. You need to leave. She is committed, man. I like that her whole character motivation is based on hate. I vibe with that a lot. I like to have scrolls. I wonder if this was inspired by Harry Potter. It feels like that, doesn't it? When did this come out? I'll have to check that out. Excellent. Clearly, they're making fun of. It would depend on when this came out, but they're making fun of some of the products that were coming out at that time, right? Wow. And it works on her too, right? At the story, right? Yeah. That's not good. How about I hit you instead? Yeah. Oh, look, a squirrel. Break their noses. Yeah, that's right. Do the funky chicken. Yeah. Hopefully we never see that girl again. Yeah. Yeah, that song's pretty recent back here. Especially Alex's mom. Yeah. Wow, he is an a-hole. Of course, what is he, about 6, 8? I have no idea. He could be 10 for all I know. Damn. There we go. What about the size 5 shoes? I guess he doesn't deserve to be paid because he didn't do anything. Well, this is awkward. How could you make that out? That's pretty good eyes. Trash the place. He's putting it together. Everybody gets punished. That's like, let's rip this jacket. Oh, crap. That's right. That's what you get. I didn't even make up that connection. That's excellent. Yeah. Yeah, but you did, though. That's right. That's why you don't have vapid friends. Not anymore. That's right. Twist the knife. Too late. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I have to do this. Yeah. I thought she was going to call her out for pissing her pants. Who is that chick? She is amazing. She has an intensity that's kind of scary, but I kind of like it. Give me that wand. Nicely played. Yeah. Yeah. Get her in trouble worse. That's right. How did she hear that though? That's the question. Did she hear it through the doppelganger? Really? I love this guy. You are busted. They'll still get punished later. Yeah, it's about my hate. Yes. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Hell yeah. You're goddamn right. Yeah, it was good. Moron. Hell no. Excellent. How the hell does that mean four, dude? I love the barking thing. Oh, crap. Here we go. Yeah. What's up? Really? He's going to bark. Oh, that's a pretty good job she did there. I looked up the actress who was the store manager. She hasn't actually done that much. Her name is Amanda Teppy. And since 2013, she's only done one thing, and that was in 2017. So, like, but here's the thing. She started falling off from her acting work around 2010. And it got less and less and less until she stopped altogether. She got married in 2008. So that tells me that her husband didn't want her to work as much anymore. Or he was rich or whatever. Like, who knows? That clearly had an impact. Pure fan fiction, I'm just saying. But she was incredible. Like, I love her. For like a person who had like 6 total lines, I love the intensity. Anyway, I did a long little thing about child acting if you want to see that next. And I also had a long intro. So I'll cut this off here. But I have thoughts about this episode I'll give in the intro for the next episode. Matter of fact, I better do this now because I'll end up forgetting. Here's the thing about child actors. This is something that's very important. Like if you're If your sibling is a child actor, if your child is a child actor, if your family friend has a kid who's a child actor, or if you're into business and you're dealing with child actors, this is what you need to know. The thing about child actors is, at 8 years old, they're the best. We're talking about the best 8-year-old child actor you've ever seen in your life. They're the best 8-year-old child actor you've ever seen in your life, right? Because most 8-year-olds aren't acting, and the 8-year-olds who do act, they don't take acting classes, or they weren't born with the God-given talent to be actors. It's one of those two things, right? Okay, cool. When they turn 10, they're going to be the best 10-year-old actor for the same reason. Because they were either born with the talent or they work hard, or probably both, right? At 11, they're going to be the best 11-year-old actor you've ever seen. But here's what happens. Once they turn 12, people, 11-year-old, 10 and 11-year-olds start getting into acting. Most 8-year-olds don't get into acting. Their parents have to put them into that. By 10 and 11, they can start saying, Mommy, I want to act. And sometimes they'll do it. Sometimes the parents will let them do it. So they start taking acting classes. And they start learning. And they start, oh, wait a minute, I do have talent. It's only the prodigies, the Shakespeares, the Leonardo da Vinci's of acting who act and are good at 8 years old. But by the time you're 10, 11, they can start having their own agencies. They start saying, hey, I want to act. And so then they start taking classes. So by the time this prodigy turns 13, they have competition for the first time in their life. Now we have these 10, 11, and 12-year-olds who've been now training for a couple years. They've been in a couple of projects. Now you have real competition. But what's been happening is from the time they were 8 until they were 13, they had no competition. They didn't have to push themselves. They didn't have to work hard. They would just get the roles. They'd walk in and get the roles. Now they're competing with people working harder than they are. Now I'm speaking in general, but I'm saying this is what happens. So by the time they turn 14 and 15, they're being beaten out by people less talented than them. Because those people work harder and they've had to fight and claw for everything they've gotten instead of having it handed to them, walking into every audition and getting the role immediately. They don't even have callbacks. Sometimes they're the only people that apply for the role. Sometimes they're sought out because people heard they were good. They saw them in something else and said, hey, that person's good. So by the time they're 16 and 17, a lot of them drop out of acting because they can't take the failure. That's the arc. You're unrivaled, and then you start getting competition, and the best ones will start working harder and then keep being good. And we're just talking like the indie second level, third level. We're not talking about Drew Barrymore or Dakota Fanning or Elle Fanning or any of these people. It can happen to them too. I'm just talking about the working class child actors. There's 1,000 of them. And Disney Channel qualifies as that, right? Like Jennifer Stone, I don't know what age she was here, probably 15. She could have been 17. She's not working anymore as far as I know. I've never seen her in anything. So those people. I'm not talking about Selena Gomez's. But that's what will happen though. You'll have these 1 in 10,000 actors will be out of acting by the time they're 18 and 20 because of that arc. Now, the way you combat this is when they're 8, 9, and 10 and they're getting no competition or getting every role, you put them, you train them. If this is what they want to do. Now, we're not talking about like pressing your child into service against their will. If they don't want to do it, if they don't want to work hard, then don't do it. But I'm talking about the ones who want to, this is their only goal, this is all they want to do in life. This is what they want. Give them training, all that they're always taking an acting class, and if nobody else will film them in something, you film them in something and make it challenging. Make them do things on film they've never done before. Keep challenging them, keep pushing them, so that when that 13-year-old bump happens, when that roadblock happens at 13, they're up for the task. They can still beat these people out because they are still more talented, but now they won't be lazy, right? So that's how you get around this. So Selena Gomez, I get the idea, and I don't know. Like, she also got lucky, and I think she also sang, and like the music helped her get more popular. And I think she's actually more of a musician now than she is an actress, as far as I know. I haven't really followed her career super close. I know she does like a reality cooking show, and she's mostly a singer, so this probably does actually apply to her. But the thing is, at this age, she was starting to get pushed by people less talented than her who were working harder, and I assume she had a good management team who kept her working hard. Now, I do know, because my friend that I was talking about got me on this show is also, she works in the industry. She did a couple small things. She was on a couple of network shows, and she's out of the business now. But like she did acting for about 10 years on a near Hollywood level in New York City. They do a lot of shooting in New York City, right? So she knows for a fact that they have an acting coach on every Disney set for every one of these kids. And they almost go line by line with these kids, especially the younger ones. Every line of dialogue you see read, like that younger kid, her younger brother, he's coached on every single line delivered. Obviously, that doesn't happen as an adult, but like literally, it's okay. I want you to say the line this way. Repeat after me, and they learn it, and then they'll say it on camera. Okay, now here's the next line. Say it this way. Repeat after me. So you don't know if those people are any good or not. You never know until they leave Disney Channel and go to something else, unless they're super good, right? But anyway, so the people like Dove Cameron kind of broke out, and she's done other acting things. And let me think. There's a couple other people that have broken out of Disney Channel as child actors and are still good. I suspect those are the people the management team kept them working hard. That's what you got to do. And again, I can't stress this enough. If they don't want to do it, if they resist, don't press them into service. But if this is what they truly want to do, you can only help them by giving them more training and pushing them hard. So that's my diatribe on child actors. Like, I've seen it happen so many times. It's happened to people. I first met actors at 8 or 10, and they were doing something else. They were studying real estate by the time they were 18 because they got their ass kicked once they reached that age level of 13, 14, and 15.